Today I'd like to show my friends who knit on Superbas a trick that allows us to cast on with the comb on a single bed, but without any waste yarn. Bring the needles you intend to work on forward. With the wire already inserted in the comb, hang it on those needles. It's a perfect fit, it's very easy. Make sure that each needle gets inserted underneath the wire. Flick all the latches open. You may use a tool, as I am here. What I'm using is actually a loom hooking tool, or you can flick them open with your fingertip, either one. Begin with the knotted loop on the leftmost needle and proceed to double E-wrap. That's under 2 needles, going from left to right, back to the left over the first of those needles. Put the working yarn into the hook of the needle on the left and pull back to make a fresh stitch. Doing this, we end up with a completed stitch in each needle, which is why the machine can go ahead and knit on from here without further ado. Ideally, we hope that the needle will close itself on its way under the wire, but sometimes it doesn't want to. So it's a good idea to use an index finger to flick that latch closed so that the needle will slide properly under the wire. If I nudge this work down a little bit, you can begin to see the true stitch in each needle. So we'll keep casting on. Another thing to keep in mind is that you want this row of stitches, which may show on some projects, to be even. So practice pulling back each needle to the same exact distance. If you need help with that, you can actually cut a piece of wood and lay it behind the needle butts so that you only have a set distance to travel. This is called E-wrap because the hand and the yarn are making a motion that would be used to make the cursive letter E. I'm right-handed and I'm working with my left hand here because it gives you a better view. But I will switch to my right hand for a minute and then it will feel to me like drawing the letter E, and you may recognize the motion if you're right-handed too. Now, here's an issue to keep an eye out for. As you progress farther across the bed, and there are more and more stitches that have already been knitted and fewer sitting on the comb may create quite a commotion when you try to knit through it. The best thing to do is lift the comb slightly with a finger so that knitting that stitch by hand is no longer difficult, hard on the comb, the needle, and the yarn. When every needle that's going to be used for the project has been E-wrapped, remove the slack from the yarn. You probably will have more off the cone than you need right now. Pull it back through the tension mast, close up the beds, and thread the machine normally. Before closing up, it's a good idea to give a downward tug on the comb, and don't forget to hang the weights on it. The first row should be knitted gently, just in case there are any problems, but usually there are none. It may feel a little stiff though. After that very first row, nothing will feel any different than it usually does, and things will go smoothly. For those who are interested, I didn't get a mast with this machine, so I'm using a do-it-yourself mast, and we have a video just made on creating one on your own because it's not too uncommon to receive a machine without a mast. And we've been asked about it quite a bit. When it's time to take the work off of the machine, just pull the comb wire out and your pretty cast on will be revealed. If you're wondering about the extra strands of yarn, this is a dishcloth made with knit weaving, and those are the weaving strands. I've got a video of that for you, and here is how the finished cast on looks. It's really very attractive. In case you'd like to make a dishcloth like this, I will put a link to that video in the program notes. It's a wonderfully textured scrubbing cloth. A link to the mast video will be provided also.